Right. Hopefully people can hear me now. So we're gonna go live. My name's Charlie. Just give me a thumbs up if people can hear me. I am on my phone, so gonna try to wing this and see if we can actually get through tonight's little mini live stream. We're going to talk about yesterday's game. We're going to be talking about the confusion about Slot and the red card for what seemed to be a really an innocent comment. Um, and it just seemed like certain people were rattled. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Joshua. So yeah. So we're gonna do this Mark Goldbridge style. Real shout out to Mark and what he does. I'm gonna just see how I can get through this. No guests actually, unfortunately, were able to turn up today. So you've got me for about 20, 25 minutes or whatever we can try to do to get through this video. So yeah, so let's talk about the game and the feeling before the game. Obviously, this is the last game at Goodison Park, so it was always going to be emotional. We haven't really fared well against Everton in the past. We've turned up and got good results, but actually, 1 second, we may have someone here. Just a two-person show. West has turned up. Hello, West. I thought I was going to be a
Hey,
modern.
oh, sorry, man. I just came from the shower,
I
so I
can't
was
hear
just
you. I
like
can't hear you.
freshening up. Oh, can you hear me now?
Nope. Can't hear you. Maybe it's my whatchamacallit again. Let me do something. How does that? Can you just speak for me, please, West?
Oh, okay.
No.
Is everything okay? You can't hear me.
Having a bit of a mare
Wait,
today, aren't we?
let me leave, and then I'll come back again because I can hear you.
Nope. Back to me again. It's back to me again. Right. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the starting lineup. Everyone knows about the starting lineup. There's no real shocks. We thought that Bradley would play. Trent wasn't quite ready for what we were trying to do. And then what else was there? So the big talking point, was,
Can you
high
hear me?
wall stick. Yeah, totally agree. It's just me, but I hear you. Wes, don't worry. Come back to another stream. It'll just be me tonight, and don't worry. We'll try to sort out the audio for next time. It's probably my side. I can't hear you, so I'll leave you to it.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know. Seriously,
Can you
I
hear me
can't hear
now?
you. So I'll let you go. You drop off. You drop off, and then we'll speak another time. Thank you. Right. Yes. Hi, Allstick. This is turning into a bit of a disaster. So first things, yeah. So going back to the lineup, really no kind of surprises in terms of the starting lineup. The only big one I thought was the main striker, Luis Diaz. I really thought that this is going to be one of those games where Nunes is going to come in. Yeah, absolutely, Jay. Just it is an interesting one. I'm not too sure why Endo didn't come on. I said it when I was watching the game. When we got to 2-1, like bring Endo on, take off Soboslai, just shore up that midfield and just let Endo just chase the ball, hound the Everton players. It's a bit of a bizarre one, but the thing I wanted to actually start off with was Nunes, and I'm not the biggest fan of Nunes. I've said it previously. I don't think he's quite got it, but in instances where he's able to kind of throw himself around and disrupt the centre backs, the defence, especially a defence that's going to be up for it. It's a lively Goodison crowd. They're going to be really up for it because they feel that it's a nighttime game. Last one at Goodison Park. Liverpool are in town. They just turned up from up the road, and it's a title. It's something that where they can get bragging rights saying that you didn't beat us. Even if you do go on to win the league, you still didn't beat us. So it's one of those. It's an interesting one. I really thought that Nunes was going to be really, really tailor made for this type of match, but it didn't work out that way. So so the first 20 minutes is what I expected. Really, really, there was a lot of comments in our kind of WhatsApp group where there was feelings that the Everton team, the way that they were going to set up, going to be very much a low block. I didn't believe that for 1 minute. I was quite adamant and really, really truly believed that they were going to be going for it. Again, those situations, those comments, the full process that they want to give the Everton crowd something to shout about, something to brag. Even just for a few more weeks, because we still do have to play them at Anfield. Get them back in, and we'll see what they're really, really made of. But it was a bizarre one. Straight away, I really didn't want to talk too much about this particular person, but Michael Oliver, really, really, it is definitely showing now that he's. And Gary Neville's kind of spoken about he's the best in the country. He's not the best in the country. He's way down the pecking order. When he first come round, I was really, really positive about Michael Oliver. I thought he was a really, really good referee. Really didn't get kind of caught up in the parade, the showmanship of what referees tend to be. Very much a main character syndrome. But he feels like he's got that now, and it's a shame because he could definitely be one of the best referees that we've had in the Premier League. It's a weird thing to say, isn't it? Talking about referees being the best of an era, but if he's a FIFA referee and they want to take on English referees, and if we're saying that Michael Oliver is the best of the bunch, then that's a really, really low bar. He's shown time and time again throughout the whole season for 2-3 years now at least that he's just not up to the job. He's missing simple things. That the free kick that led to the goal, it wasn't even a free kick. Mac had three fouls in the first half, I think it was. He didn't even touch the player once, and it's just bizarre that it's not just a one-off. It's just constantly the same kind of conversation, and Arsenal fans can feel aggrieved. They have a right to, because they've had some bad decisions. Other teams have had really bad decisions, and we've had bad decisions. It's not just it's not an agenda against a particular club. It's just really, really bad officiating. They're not up to the standard of what you would expect for being the biggest league in the world. So yeah, again, guys, just drop your comments. There's a few things that we need to kind of just talk about. Yeah, Oliver needs to be investigated. Jay again. Oliver gives reds for compliments apparently, but even if Slot was being a smart ass, it was uncalled for. Yeah, totally agree. It's we'll concentrate on that red card for Slot actually, just very, very quickly while we're here. It's an interesting one because Slot maybe did go in for quite an more than vigorous handshake, and it's a very physical handshake, but there's definitely no pull. There was words said between Virgil and the referee with Oliver, and Virgil kind of reiterated saying there wasn't a pull. It's not personal. And I don't think it is. I don't think Slot really cares as long as the referees do a good job. I don't really think he cares about the referees and the personalities. He's come to the country, and he's seen firsthand how bad the referees are. But I think it really was a case of Oliver was prepared to pull out the red card straight away, regardless of whatever Slot said. There was going to be a reaction because he knew that he had a bad game, and that final 2-3 minutes, really, really culminated into this emotional reaction from Oliver, and everyone was very emotional. You had pitch invasion because Everton really, supported it, celebrated a draw. Again, fine, I get it, I understand it. If it was my team and we were in that position, like playing against your local team, and you get a last minute equaliser, yeah, fair enough. You probably would, but there's certain things that should have happened, and the players aren't to blame. Yes, Decore is playing up to the crowd and playing up to the persona of being an Everton supporter, Everton player, should I say? And we've seen it before. There's plenty examples. T. Cahill did it in the past. Onana, I'm sure, did it as well. Richarlison, he's probably the biggest one in recent years that's really played up to being an Everton player. They know their role. They know their role within the league and within the match of the derby itself. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but there's real confusion about what's actually happened with this red card and what it's actually meant. So this morning, the PGMOL, I believe it was them or the FA, one of the two, on their official website, essentially said that that Slot was going to be banned for 2 games. And so, but then they deleted that line. So there's still even more confusion behind that as well. So if it's 1 game, when is that 1 game? Because there's going to be an opportunity to appeal. So if there's opportunity to appeal, is it like a suspended sentence where Slot can actually be there on a weekend to be against Wolves? But then there's potential for him to be missing the Villa game away, which is massive game. Or is it going to be 2 games? Because then it gets into the realms of it's Villa and Man City, and we really do need Slot to be there because it's two of the hardest away games in the league. And certainly the remaining games that we have, they're definitely going to be the hardest games. We probably will say. Yeah, so again, Jay, you've kind of hit the nail on the head with the comment there. So, right, this is new. So, but sources were in Smith actually believe warranted a red card. Right, okay, I didn't see that. There was numerous angles, and definitely enough replays to suggest that didn't occur. I haven't seen that. I'll be really, really surprised if that was, if that's the case. And it's just crazy how lack of transparency there is with referees. They are mic'd up, but they won't. First of all, they won't release the audio. But you can get the readers to an extent to tell us what was actually said, and we can say that Slot has gone in, said great game, whether that's sarcastically or not. As a referee, you need to be above that because they probably get it worse from players. They get it worse, definitely get it worse from fans as well. So, yeah. So it's an interesting one. What would actually happen? We won't find out for Thursday today. Tomorrow, maybe we'll get some information about that. Early next week, there could be some information about the ban for Slot. We really do need him on his game in the dugout, because he's fantastic as a tactician. So yeah, it's going to be quite a difficult few days for Slot and us as a fan base just to try to understand what's actually going on. On top of that, the actual decision, there's 3 decisions in injury time that infuriated me, and I'm sure you guys will tell me the same. So the first one was the Salah. Salah was taking on all these players, going weaving in and out. Got to their box, pulled it back, and I think it was Alcaraz. Alcaraz essentially hacked him down. There is clear contact, yet Oliver didn't blow for it, told him to get up, and I just don't get it. Salah constantly and consistently not having fouls called for. So that's one, and if that free kick had been given as it should have, that probably would have been the end of the game. So that's one. The second thing is, very, very close to full time. I don't believe, because there's a lot of, again, social media has a way of kind of driving narratives. So there was an image of the two players colliding, and the timestamp as what we would see it was kind of 10, 11, 12 seconds towards the end of the actual allotted injury time. I think that was actually a replay of the incident that occurred a minute or two earlier. But for that to be added, the time for the players who had that treatment was probably a minute and a half, 90 seconds added. That added to that time within injury time. So straight away, there's some discrepancy about the time when Trent cleared the ball in injury time. That should have been it. That should have been done and dusted. So that's the second thing. And then the last thing was the ridiculous equaliser that they had. Two things. Definitely two things. So the offside rule is broken. It definitely is broken in this country. It's a system that is dependent on subjectivity around the ability for referees or assistants to be able to plot lines, rather than having a semi-automated system that has worked successfully in Europe in UEFA competitions, where we are seeing very, very clear lines and judgments based on offsides of fact. We didn't get to see that. Yesterday's kind of tolerance is kind of one of those things where we just don't understand it. Yeah, we probably should be talking about Joe Gomez as well. It's a shame. We will talk about it really, really briefly. I don't want to spend too much time on tonight's stream just going about it. But yeah, so the offside. There's another account on social media that kind of specializes in these type of decisions and have the technology to be able to plot lines and have it quite accurate. And they've called it would have been offside, going by what they've seen, and they've shared that information. Again, the tolerance within the PGMOL system is quite like a bit of a thick line. So yeah, it's a tough one to take, but everyone plays by the rules, by that same rule when it comes to offside. So if we have that tolerance, it's not just that they've made it up on the spot; it's been agreed for a very long time. So that's a tough one. The second part of that is Mike Oliver was looking at the situation with Canate and Beto. Beto essentially just pushed and shoved Canate out of the flight of the ball. He was going to meet that ball. Now, for me, straight away, regardless of wherever you are on the pitch, that's a foul. If you prevent a player from being able to complete the action through physical nature, whatever it is, you've obstructed them. That's a foul. That's the end of that conversation. If Mike Oliver had blown for it there and then, that's it. That's it. It's just that. But it's allowed to play on, and then the VAR team don't have the guts to be able to call that out in that replay to then call Mike Oliver over. They've essentially backed their man to a position where it's actually unbelievable. It's 100%. A foul on our player, and that should have been the end of that, regardless of whether it should have been, added time to that extent, whether it should have been offside. That third stage of that kind of debacle, the fourth stage, you probably could say it. It really, really, really shouldn't have happened in that respect. Yeah, so we've gone through a lot in that short amount of time. The last bit, I'm all up for passion. from players. We love to give a little bit as supporters to other teams, and when a player does it, they're asking for trouble. And I love what Curtis did. I really did. He showed a lot more than probably other players, other Scousers have done in the past. But he's got himself in this situation where he's gone for Decore. Decore's then and other players have then gone in and got themselves both sent off. One thing I'm not too sure of is whether Jones got a straight red, and if it's a straight red, then it's a longer ban compared to a second yellow, because he was already on a yellow card for the game. So if it's a second yellow, not bad. Really, only misses one game. If it's a straight red, definitely 2 games. He'll be missing. So that's a shame again, because he's a reliable player that we really need in these next 4 games. Yeah, and then a bit of a melee at the end between all the players, the fans, the stewards as well. We're getting a little bit too handy, with our players, and then the situation with Oliver and Slot kind of calling it out, saying let's talk after. It just needed a bit of calmness from all sets, and we unfortunately didn't get it. One thing, yeah. So Jay, absolutely. We spoke about it. Could we have done certain things better? Endo probably could have come on a little bit sooner, just to shore up and help that midfield. Was there other opportunities to bring on other players? I'm not too sure. I don't think there was anyone else I think I'd want coming onto the pitch. McAllister was brilliant. Soboslai kind of drifted in and out of the game, kind of went really, really quiet in the second half. Diaz hasn't just really shown much since December in that position in the central 9. He's really struggled. I didn't think it was a good ploy for him to be playing against a defence that's quite physical, and also plays a little bit, not a high line, the low line, whatever you want to call it. They would absorb the pressure. But yeah, maybe Jota could have been one of those players. I understand with Jota, he's not the most robust of players. Quite physical. He gets himself into positions where he gets himself injured quite frequently. Yeah, but there's so many options. There's so many options that Chiesa doesn't even get onto the bench. That's how deep the team is. But yeah, just get ourselves into a position where we're 2-1 up with literally seconds to go, being 9 points ahead instead of 7. It's just one of those things. Again, yeah, Stig, I totally agree. Bit of hindsight makes everything wonderful or worse. But we need to move forward as a team. The games come thick and fast. We've got a Wolves game. Anfield, we're back at Anfield finally. Seems like it's been ages since we played at Anfield in the league. Seems like it's been ages since we've won consecutive games in a while. So we need to kind of get that momentum back. But 7 points still at this late-ish stage in the season, still a fantastic position. I'm really, really confident. I'm really, really happy with the team. I think it's just a case of regrouping as a team, as a fan base, and kind of seeing the haze that we've had over the last kind of few weeks, couple of months, that can start to settle. We've got some big games coming up. We know the route, the path to winning this league. So all we need to do is keep our nose clean. Don't get ourselves emotionally invested into the games. Treat every game as kind of professional jobs. The Bournemouth game was that perfect example where we turned up to a really, really good team and put them away. it's just going to be an interesting one for the rest of the season. But all we can do is just concentrate on the next game. Next game's going to be Wolves. We'll have to try to understand who's going to be there, whether Slot's going to be there, whether his assistant's going to be there. Jones probably won't be. Even if we did try to appeal, I don't think we can get away with Jones. I don't think we can get away with Slot either. And then the cup final is coming up really, really quickly next month. So that's been agreed. That's the 16th of March at 4:30 UK time. So that's going to be a massive, massive game against Newcastle, a really tough Newcastle team who probably will play very, very similar to what Everton did. Very physical. So something that we need to kind of try to get just used to. So, yeah, a lot to take in. It's just in the last 24 hours. Yeah, absolutely. Jay, yeah, we lost our assistant coach, Johnny Heitinger, in the hot seat. Let's see how he gets on as well. But yeah, we've got nearly half an hour out of me just chatting away. Bit of a therapy session, bit of a recap of what actually happened yesterday. Yeah, I feel better now. Now we've spoken about it. Now we've let it settle. Yeah, so it's just there's loads to keep on talking about. But the game moved on. We move on as a team. We move on to the next game. Let's get the 3 points. I'm not going to talk about Arsenal. Arsenal can do whatever they want. All we need to do is just look after ourselves and perform what we're doing. I'm going to call it a night. We've done half an hour. I've got half an hour out of speaking, talking, waffling. Therapy session, however you want to call it. I just want to say thank you for everyone that's joined me tonight. There's a fair few watching tonight, and big up to you guys talking on the stream, on the comments. So yes, join me tomorrow. I'm back tomorrow actually, hopefully with some guests, and so we can talk about the weekend coming up. So yeah, you'll hear from me again tomorrow. 7:30 UK time. Hit those likes, hit those subscribes, leave some comments. Tell me how you feel about the game, how you feel about everything coming up. We've got big game on the weekend. Who's going to be in your starting lineup? And give me your thoughts. How I did tonight. I just want to say thank you, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night, all. Up the Reds.